going down a steep hill, I was wondering who was going to run out of brakes first, and that would be you. Maybe it's the weight. I don't know.
Oh, the tequila's finally kicking in, huh, Casey? Yeah, cheers. I pay out you guest hosts or something like that. You got some tequila. That tequila is probably more than we'll make on this show. I mean, just the sips we're having off of this. Echo. Wait a minute. Tell me if the echo stops now.
Are you doing schools?
No.
Just
no.
canceled?
Hell no. Cancel. I got canceled. Welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. I think. Hopefully you're hearing sound. If you're hearing sound, let us know in the chat. We are doing a remote one off the Starlink. I think I'm your host, but really I'm just like to talk about myself. In fact, I'm like one of those crazy people that shows up at your town board meetings and get their 3 minutes to speak, except it's my podcast and I can talk for as long as I want. So everybody, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining in. It's Tuesday. I'm having a beer. I just had lasagna, and we're gonna get this going. Welcome to the show, Casey. You're gonna have to sit a little closer. You look like you're scared of me.
Got to get some daylight here.
Well, yeah. The camera makes us look like we're a little bit farther apart than we actually are. You getting comfortable?
A little close, but we're good.
So Casey was dumb enough to go trail riding with me today.
Smart enough.
Yeah, we did good.
That was a good time.
Good.
Like today, yesterday, and the day before. So 3 days.
Right. So hopefully, like we said, we're making sounds. I can't tell. You have to let us know if the sound's working, because I think we're disconnecting every once in a while too, which isn't that good either. So sorry for the inconvenience. Oh, look at this thing. So this thing's 3 minutes behind. That's why people can't tell whether they're in the chat. And see, this thing down here, that's not green. And so I don't know if it's like not turned on. How about that? I think I just turned it on.
This is a tech show, and you don't know much about computer tech.
No, it's Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Welcome to the show. We'll just restart like that. I'll just edit that out so nobody knows that happened. So if you can't read lips, then you're screwed for the first part of the intro. My name is Jimmy Lewis. I'm the host of the show. Joining me tonight is Casey McCoy, who went riding with us today with me. We went riding with Casey. We're just out riding.
Just having a good time.
Riding dirt bikes.
Find a new trail.
Poking around and learning some stuff. So back up in some place.
I'd say cutting some trail.
We cleared some trail. We were good Samaritans to the trail today.
Making sure the people have access and everybody's having a good time out there. That's the best part.
So I'm testing a few things on my bike I'm doing this for you. I don't just ride because I like riding a lot and I just want to go riding. I'm doing it because only for you, for your knowledge. So when you ask me questions, I have answers to the questions. So I don't know what I'm testing though. I'm testing the moose balls to death.
Balls. We're testing.
I'm testing the crap out of my front tire. It's done a long time ago.
We had some good heat tests yesterday.
Tested Trail Tech cooling fan.
Fans.
Yep, for sure. Testing a Pirelli rear tire.
Yeah.
That was good with moose balls in it also, which I'm testing those. What else am I testing? Oh, I have the Rekluse 4.0 clutch. Yeah, I'm testing gloves. I was testing some RLR gloves. I finally took them out of the Tech Talk studio. They made their way out of the studio and went onto my hands, like where they're supposed to. So, let's see. Okay. So evidently the show is, I'm going to text see if there's any sound. Onto my hands, like where they're supposed to. Look, it works. Okay, good. I checked myself because nobody checked the sound, or maybe the chat's not working. That's the other thing. So there's another thing I have to check here to see if this. See, it picked up some stuff, but I'm going to reload this whole page and see what happens. We're constantly showing messages that we're getting disconnected, and then where's your brother? He should be calling in because he has like 8,000 questions.
How do you change a moose?
So the way that this works, didn't he try to do one out here on this porch once? Was this the porch?
No, that was my cousin, remember? over in his place when you had to change it for him. Started on to dust that 3 years ago.
Oh, I don't remember. Oh, that was over at
over on the
Stanton's
other
place.
side,
Yeah. Oh, okay. So thanks to our sponsors. Like to thank Yamaha. Like to thank Taco Moto that brings you a segment called Roosterendo, which we will not be doing tonight because I don't have my computer ready to go and I couldn't fire all that stuff up. So if you did put your thing in for Roosterendo, and I know I got one in today, I will add that to hopefully next week's show. I should be back in the studio. Although the studio is not this beautiful, and the riding at the studio right now is currently not this good. So you should know that. I might not make it back. I'm just thinking with the rain that's coming, and
The highway did close today, so you might be landlocked here for a little bit.
Yeah, so
that'd always be a good thing.
Could be stuck. My cat's gonna really be bummed out.
Hey, we had a cat out here on the porch last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like cats.
Don't know where it came from.
Yeah. So this is a show where we talk about motorcycle-related products. We answer 9 out of 10 questions without referring to a reference manual, and sometimes we drink tequila. There may or may not be tequila on the set right now, and we're really relying on you putting questions in the chat so that we can... it's working on the YouTube, says Joe Stratton. Thank you very much, Joe. So if you're out there watching, go ahead and tell us where you're watching from, because I'm pretty sure since we went on like 5 minutes late, everybody in the East Coast just went to bed because there's nothing else to do but go to bed if you can't watch Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. And so I was telling you, so I'm testing the gloves. Here's the interesting thing about testing stuff. And you saw what I was doing today, right? Did you notice?
No.
You didn't?
Behind you.
Well, I know, but you didn't see I had one of my normal gloves. Did you notice
I didn't notice the glove.
So all day today and all day yesterday, I had one of the new glove on and one of the what I usually run. And I'm doing that to see if I notice anything, like if something stands out. That's the first test. Because when I put them on the other day and I was wearing both of them, I didn't notice anything. And it's like, okay, maybe it's just because I haven't, it's the first time I wear them, but nothing bad. And that's a really good sign of a product. So yesterday, I went ahead and put one on, rode all day long, didn't notice anything. And then I switched them today. So I switched hands just to check them. So the RLR, that's the Rich Lafferty Racing gloves that I showed on a show a while, are passing muster. And this show is also brought to you by Climb. So every other piece of gear on my body all day long, except for that one glove, was Climb. And that's why I was so comfortable, because it was freaking hot.
I was going to say, given that the gloves I had on were soaking wet from just the humidity today.
Really?
That's one thing I really noticed in mine.
Mine I didn't have anything. But you said it this morning. You said it was hotter. It felt hotter. Once we got up in the mountain, because we went 3,000 straight up.
Yeah.
And then it was nice all day. I mean, I never even thought about the temperature until we started coming down. I mean, we dropped into one of those.
I didn't feel the heat until we hit.
They call them coolies.
10
usually.
miles. Yeah.
No. It was we were coming down and we dropped down below 4,000 or something, and it was just like, whoo. It was hot. So again, the purpose of this show is for you to ask questions and get your answers, and if you don't, then we're going to hang up on you, just like a phone call. I don't know if I should call Trevor because he's broken. We showed his cartwheel on last week's show. I don't think I have that. How did I do that last time? Because I was at home. Okay. So the video's in the studio, not here. So I didn't take it with me. But what else? So you know what else I'm really impressed with is I was riding a KTM 300 today. This show brought to you by Yamaha. I was riding my KTM 300 and I have a Rekluse, I think it's the 4.0, the auto clutch, and I used to not like them in the two-stroke KTMs because the engagement wasn't right. That engagement on that new clutch is so good.
Yeah, and after we got to the top of that first hill today. When we got up there and sitting on the log and said, I thought I have a question in the woods back there, but I forgot.
Oh.
As soon as you took off, I remembered, and it was because of the Rekluse clutch.
Yep.
As you left. And given we went through yesterday with, 3,000 feet of switchbacks of first gear.
Soft, yep.
Heat-wise, do the Recluses generate more heat than a standard clutch if you stay off of the standard clutch?
If you're off the standard clutch, they could, but it depends on how you have it set up. It's just like,
because that's what creates the heat, right?
yeah, the clutch does 90% of the heat,
Yeah.
and it just depends on how you use the clutch, and by stay off it, it sort of depends on like what speed you're going. Because if you can get it to where you can let the clutch out, you can get moving, and then you don't touch the clutch anymore, it's not going to generate any heat.
Right.
And the same thing with the Rekluse. If you can build enough speed
So it doesn't.
so that it's no longer slipping.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really critical with setup. And I run a setup that I honestly don't think, well, they may have changed. I'm not really in communication with anybody down there a whole lot right now. But I used to have, it was a Jimmy setup. And it was basically really light springs and really heavy wedges. So it engaged a little quicker than they wanted it to. And it engaged sooner than they wanted it to.
Right.
So, but it was prone to stalling. If you're back in the day, if your jetting wasn't correct, and it was a little, it drags. So if you put the bike in gear, it doesn't just tighten the chain. You know, they want it to sort of tighten the chain when you put it in gear. It would actually kind of get the bike. You almost had to touch the brake a little bit to keep it from moving.
Right.
So again, it might have been a little bit prone to stalling, but it sure as hell didn't release when you skidded the rear wheel. If you skid the rear wheel and you let up, you weren't freewheeling, because it always had that ability to drag, but it also could, when you skid the rear wheel, it could stall if you did it wrong. And you had to be really technical with the idle speed, or all the different things. So, but the new one, the 4.0, and it has a different wedging mechanism in the disc, and the engagement is so much smoother, and it just like it bogs down really low, but never like doesn't release.
Right.
It always, when the RPM drops down, it always releases, and then it kind of, so it's probably really bad if you're the kind of guy that likes to take off in third gear, because it'll slip for a long time, and that's
I'll do occasionally, because it's easier just to go.
Yeah.
And put the right gearing on, and those bikes will do that.
Yeah. So the back to the question, which is generating more heat? It depends on the rider. It depends on the setup.
Yeah. 'Cause today I did everything I could not to engage the clutch. We weren't climbing as steep as yesterday, but just going up there, I just stayed off the clutch the whole time. I mean, that bike will run down to 0 RPM.
Yeah.
Practically.
It's hard to, if your throttle is cracked even the slightest bit, that throttle, I mean, that bike it's really reluctant to stall. I mean, you got to be pretty steep to make that happen. And the same with the Rekluse is that if you're on the gas at all, and the way mine is set up, it's engaged and it's not slipping. So the weird thing is my KTM is a 2019, and when we went up that hill, we started at 2,400, and then when I looked down, it was about 4,000, and I noticed my bike, I go, it's running hot. It's getting really hot. And that bike, if you remember, they only reset when you start and stop the bike.
Right.
So, and they do the weirdest thing, they get lean. So it was going up. Yeah, it should get richer, yeah. And so I kind of go, I could feel it, that the sound was hot. It wasn't like deading hot, it was just getting leaner, it was definitely leaner. And I just reached over and looked at my fan, which has the temperature on it, was like 235, and I'm like, that's hot. And so I stalled it and started it. The motor has a totally different tone now, and just kept going, and we were still climbing, and another half mile later it was down to 212.
Yeah.
So it was just because that's the difference in just the engine temperature that was causing it to run up there. So anyways, okay, they're telling us somebody's from Indy. Joe's from Indy. I gotta click on this other thing here. Remember, I'm not using my multiple screens to cheat here. Oh, and this thing's sounds like you were inside a 6-inch ABS pipe. Thanks, Victor. How would you know what it's like to be inside of what it sounds like inside of a 6-inch ABS pipe? Is that where you're hiding from Imigra? Let's see.
That would be the storm blowing in.
Yeah. So, okay, so my shitty CRR 450R, there's no such thing, but okay. Rear axle adjustment bolts are seized. Don't seem rusted or anything. What would Jimmy do? That's, yeah, see, I knew that without even reading that. What would Jimmy do? Okay, so if they're seized, so what happened is there's drain holes on your swing arm. Most motorcycles that have aluminum swing arms have drain holes in them that can also get water in them, whether from washing or from going across rivers or doing whatever. Moisture can even get in there. And your bolts in your swing arm are not aluminum, so it's dissimilar metals, and they probably have become corroded, but mostly because there's water has gotten in there, and sometimes it pools up or it's constantly splashing up on the inside and it's staying moist and humid inside there. And so the inside of the bolt tends to rust or corrode a little bit, and then when you started backing it out, it drug that debris into the threads, and now you have the problem you're doing. So what I would do is I would start putting a chemical kind of like PB Blaster into the, I would put it on the, actually if you can find one of the little weep holes, the drain holes inside the swing arm, and sometimes lay the bike over and look underneath it, spray a bunch of that stuff inside of there. Also spray it all over the exposed part of the bolt, and if you want to, also heat it up to drag some of that, heat, let it go through some heat cycles with a lot of the blaster on there. The what would you call it? PB Blaster is a brand name. What would you call it? It's like a rust inhibitor or a loosening, lubricating agent. Got to think of the name for it. But penetrant oil. Yeah. So get that on there, heat cycles on it, and then work it a little bit. So if it gets tight unscrewing it, try screwing it back in. And anytime you're putting the threads going back in, put some anti-seize on them. So if you get it to come out and go in, put anti-seize on them. You're never going to get to the inside. So start doing that, and kind of figure you're going to do some work back and forth. Heat helps, but don't ever force it. But if the threads are bunged up, you're probably going to have to start forcing after time. But lubrication really, really helps in this. Kind of like when you're with your Heine in the back of the van, if you know what I mean. They're yeah. So let's see. How's the chat working?
Ronnie says he doesn't know how to chat.
Oh, yeah. From Victor says from crossing illegals on the Rio Grande by Eagle Pass. So Victor's a regular on the show, always has some funny comments for us in the chats, but he asked a good, valid question, and we gave him the best answer. But you wonder how to prevent that. This is probably what you need to know, is when you get a new bike, pull those bolts out. This is part of a prep, and put some grease or some anti-seize on them. Be liberal with it. I actually put some inside the threads, inside the hole where the bolt's going to thread into, so there's excess that kind of goes out there and kind of hangs out on the back side, and that will kind of stop that from happening. So I mean, as little as you have to adjust chains anywhere, it seems it's not that it's not that big of a problem, but still, especially when you're wet, humid environments, that's a failure-prone part. So, okay, we're getting. Let's see. Ronnie doesn't know how to chat. Well, you go in because he's got to watch it on his Okay, if you don't know how to chat, let me tell you this. You want to you watch this on Facebook or you watch it on the YouTubes, and there's a thing where you can comment. There's comments.
I think you have to be logged into YouTube.
Yeah, you can't be watching you can on your TV. There's ways you can do it, but then you have to have a keyboard, and if you're watching on a TV, you can't do it. But if you're on your computer or you're on your phone, or watch it on the YouTubes, but then go onto your phone and go into Facebook. Find us on Facebook and leave a comment there, and it pops up. If we're live, it pops up and we see it. If you're watching this afterwards, it's best to go onto YouTube. Find Dirt Bike Test channel on YouTube, and then comment away. And if we don't see it this episode, like if I don't see it right now, we're going to have a segment on the show where I go to the YouTube comments and we answer all the questions from all the videos that we do. Because we're like that. We really want to help you out. Allegedly. So, and Todd Kelly says echo. I don't know what that means, but we have an echo. Maybe you have an echo. Everything we're doing here sounds absolutely perfect. Somebody else mentioned where they're from. I couldn't see it. It popped up. It went across in the chat on the one screen. But if you send us $100 million on the through the app or whatever, I know you can do that. Like you can be a super fan or something. I will get all of these technical issues sorted out. I promise. I'll hire some kid and I'll give him some of that money, but only a little bit of it. Brought me up something. So we were talking about the Rekluse. I was liking how I'm really liking how my Rekluse is working. I want to, because now I've had it in there for well over 100 hours. I want to pull it out and see, what the plates look like. Because I've never, when the Rekluse was functioning properly and somebody else didn't ride it and do something stupid, I've never worn a KTM clutch out, stock, standard, or. I used to wear them out on Hondas and Kawasaki's and all the other stuff, and I've never worn a Yamaha's I've worn them out on. Never worn a KTM clutch out, under normal use. Oh, now we're getting text. Instant text responses.
What?
Okay.
Can you read that?
I'll be able to read it in a second here. So I want to pull it apart just because I want to kind of see what it's doing. I got to do a top end in that bike. It needs a top end. Because it's kind of coming up on like 300 total hours, but I replaced the top end last time right after we did Dawn to Dusk.
Well, that was because you went submarinos.
Yeah, I rode in a beaver.
Did you split the cases on that after?
No.
There's nothing in
there's no need.
The transmission?
No. So I rode into a beaver pond. I started riding in, and it looked like a beaver pond, and we were on a trail, but the water level and the trail was good, but the creek that the beavers dammed up, you couldn't see where it was. So I was going, and it went down a little level, and so now it's up like kind of in the engine case height, and it went down just a little bit more. And I'm thinking, oh, that was it. And then I decided if I kind of keep moving here, I'm gonna have enough of a wake. I'm gonna be able to go right through. Well, then I went into the real crick. And when my handlebars went underwater, that's when I shut her down real quick. And then I shut her down, and I turned it sideways and drug it back out. And didn't.
So you just did a top end on that one.
Eventually, yeah.
Kind of. We drained though. I think we did 2 oil changes that night, right?
No, because we didn't have that much oil. Actually, we did. Did we do
like 2 days later because we didn't have it?
We had to keep the transmission fluid in it for an extra day. It was white.
That was a marathon stage.
It was a super remote camping day, and but so here's what really happened. Here's how funky that was. So we looked at it, and it wasn't that bad. Like the transmission fluid at that point, it was a little bit milky, but we pulled it out and we tested it. It was still oil, because we could have rode 20 miles down the road to the town and got something. But I'm like, it's not going to do anything overnight. So in the morning, it had separated. We kind of saw it. It's like, it's probably not too bad. But there was definitely some water in there. The next morning, we took off and we went up a steep, long climb, and the bikes got really hot. Yeah. And when your transmission, when your motor is over 212 degrees, guess what water does? It boils. And on that KTM, it has the power valve actuation arm. And it started boiling, and all that moisture started going up through the power valve into the motor, and it did not like it. Yeah, it was. So when we opened up the side cover, the oil drain thing, steam shot out. It was like a steam radiator. But hey, I'll tell you, that bike right now is perfect.
Ride rate the last 2 days?
So the next day we changed oil 2-3 times, and it was fine. But when I got home, I pulled the top end apart, mostly because I'm pretty sure when all the water went in there, maybe it took some dirt or something in with it. I don't know, but it didn't, obviously. But the piston, it was time to do it just in general. Echo. Wait a minute. If we've got another person saying echo, then I've got to figure out how to turn something off. Input capture? What about? Tell me if the echo stops now. Actually, you know what? We could watch it. I can watch it live on this thing here. I know how to fix. Ask Ronnie if there's an echo.
Just get him to call in.
Yeah, you could call in and tell us what's going on. How do I find my channel here? I don't know what this thing is. There we go. Here, it's going to tell us we're live. Wait, here it is. Here, I'm going to listen to it right now. I stopped. I fixed it. Thank you. Wait, here it is. Here, I'm going to listen to it right now. Yeah, so we can fix things on the fly. I'm expert at 5 out of the 10 things I try to do in my life, and this isn't one of them. So, okay, thank you, everybody. We'll try to fix our other problems later.
Echo's gone, according to Dave Clark, one of the guys we wrote today.
Oh, okay, good.
Hey,
thanks, Dave. Yeah.
Glad safe drives home, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my riding it into a beaver dam story. So, okay, what was it? We have a question, a guest question.
Text in question about those wonderful Rekluse or the
reeds,
the reed valves,
the reeds and the thing. So here's the question: why do the reeds in the air boot of he's talking about a KTM 500 EXC XCFW get popped out when my KTM 500 XCFW backfires? And why is it backfiring to begin with? Am I supposed to be able to insert the reeds at will, or is it a struggle? The name of the game. So it shouldn't backfire. Does he have stock exhaust?
Yes.
Yes, stock exhaust. Maybe a little bit more prone to backfiring with the stock exhaust than one that's a little more open. But if you put a big exhaust on it, like a big open exhaust on it, they tend to backfire more.
Does that bike have the throttle positioning unit on it, or the throttle positioning sensor?
TPS? Yeah, for sure.
Did he change that? I noticed because I did on a 500, I changed that, and it created a backfire, so I went back to...
Because they're adjustable.
Yeah.
And yeah, that can make a big difference. Because that's basically telling the ECU where the throttle is, and it's adjusting the fueling based on that. So, maybe the TPS could be off a little bit. There's ways to test it with there's a computer you can plug into it. There's tools you can buy that plug into your ECU that'll test TPS, and that's a really critical adjustment. Because my KTM 500s don't backfire. I've never had one that backfired a lot unless it had an air leak or something goofy with the exhaust, or something was going wrong with it.
Right.
So what happens is the backfire is because it's not jetted properly. There's valve overlap, and it basically, the fire inside the cylinder lights the intake charge before it gets in there, and there's all that pressure. Well, that reed, what it's actually doing, because it's there to reduce sound, is when that backfire goes out, it hits that like a wall. It's like a closed door, and it wants to, that's the idea of the reed. Why the reed increases the torque on the motorcycle is because it's like a very slight supercharge effect. But when your supercharger blows the wrong direction, then something has to give, and that's what happens. So
could it be? You mentioned valve. Could valves be out, or is that
if the intake valves were tight? I mean, it's so rare on those bikes, but yeah, if the intake valves were tight and it was like kind of that was the beginning symptoms of it, that could be a problem. But yeah, they're not meant to come out. They're actually lightly glued into the factory, and I run them on all my bikes, or most of my bikes. And the only reason I take them out is because Ronnie was asking me the question. And no, mine didn't blow out. I had to yank him out. He wanted to know why he couldn't get his out. His had blown crooked, but he couldn't get it out, or he couldn't get it back in. And I'm like, no, they come right out. And so I pulled mine out. I tore the glue out that I stuck in there, and I pulled the ring that sets in there, kind of holds it, and I started pulling out. It's hard to get them out.
Yeah. I remember on my last 500, I had the same thing where they blew out, so I tried to pull them out, and they broke when I pulled
You
them
broke the reed cage.
out, the cage.
Okay. Yeah, because you've got to, the way they go in there, they kind of go around a corner and hook in, and you got to kind of pop them out. You got to flex the boot pretty hard
Right.
to get them to flex out. But I mean, if you think about, how much power an explosion makes, it's not hard for a very instantaneous explosion to pull them out. So mine had like 500 hours on them, and when I took it out to look at them, for your buddy Ronnie there, I noticed that the corner of my reeds were starting to fray, and I'm like, oh, better take these things out. So if you've taken yours out and you're ready to throw them away, throw them my way, because I want your brand new reeds to throw back in there, because I don't want to pay for them to put new ones in. So, and I'm sure out of our 2 million listeners, 1.6 million have pulled the reeds out because nobody listens to what I say. So
Riding without the reed, will it be a pig or?
No, it actually so because people listen to their bike instead of feel the power, it will feel and run better for most people. That's what they think. I don't listen to my bike. I feel what it does, and I promise you that with the reeds in, the first, when you're especially when you're on-off throttle and you're doing really technical stuff up to about a third throttle, the bike has more torque at lower RPMs. Like for every RPM, the torque is increased to a certain point. Once you start getting up to a third throttle, after that, there's no difference. And then once you're 3/4 throttle and up, the reeds are restricting the intake track, and you're losing power because of it. So I just know where I ride my bike, and I want the advantage most of the time. And I had them in there even when I was down in Mexico doing pre-run of the Nora 1000. When I'm doing rally stuff in there, I have them in there because I just like the way the bike runs, and I don't need all that power. My tires last longer.
Yeah.
So all the things. So let's see. So we've got a question there. I'm going to look at the chat. Hold on. I see your question there. Diane says, my brand new 500 EXC blew the reeds out also. I can get them back in far enough for them to... I can't get them back in far enough to stay anymore. Okay, Diane, that's exactly the same problem that Ronnie's talking about, where, that rubber ring that goes around the back of them, that has to sit flush inside the cage, and like I said, you have to work them in there. So what I did was I put them in there, and I put the back corner of the reeds. I put the back corner of the reeds more towards the shock, pushed it in as far as I could, and at that point I pivoted it in and popped it back in. So you're going to push the reed cage kind of up against the shock in the inside the boot, and then at that point you pop.
I think what you said there,
the corner in.
Because of the corner, you have to push on that boot.
Yeah.
Because of that, it's hard to get it in there. I remember doing that on mine, and I think that's why it blew out, because it wouldn't. I couldn't get it seated in there properly.
Right.
Once it's in.
Yeah, and it like so. I wonder if, technically, I've got them back in. I pulled them out and put them back in, and then I take that little rubber ring and I put like a E6000 or E3000. It's kind of a really good adhesive glue in there. I let it sit in there for 24 hours, and mine never come out, but then it doesn't backfire. Robert Pfister has a question. He says, just bought a 2000 YZ125 as a project bike. Currently trying to figure out why the Kickstarter gear is not engaging with the idle gear. The Kickstart assembly components are fine, not sure what to do. So Robert, we'll go through you with this. You're gonna have to text, throw this back in the chat. So you're talking about if you have the assembly in your hand, when you turn the thing, it actually throws the gear out, the engagement gear out, so that it spins it. Because a couple things I can think of off the top of my head is a lot of times that when you install those, if the spring that kind of keeps those things from engaging all the time, if the spring isn't set properly with the right tension in it, the sometimes that can cause it to so that there's no tension on it, so it doesn't spring in. I've seen people have too much tension on it to where it doesn't allow it to work. Like they actually, a lot of times they go down and bind because it does spring bind. Sometimes there's a part missing inside of there. There's a pin that locks one of the gears to the shaft. I've seen those missing, so everything just spins instead of it looks like it engages and works, but everything spins when one of those gears is not supposed to spin. So look at the parts fish. The best thing you do is go look at the parts fish. He says, no, it doesn't line up. Yeah, look at the parts fish and make sure everything's in there. What doesn't line up? Tell us what that is. What doesn't line up on a 2000 YZ125? In fact, you know what? Since the show is brought to you by Yamaha, you should just go down to your local Yamaha dealer and buy a 2026 YZ125 like I want to do. I have a 2005 YZ125, and I want a brand new one. So you should want a brand new one, and you can still keep this as a project bike because then you're going to buy genuine Yamaha parts for it. They're the best, and it's amazing how far back you can go and get parts for some of those bikes. Let's see. The idle gear and the kickstart gear don't line up. So usually the shaft has a we call it a timing mark on it. Mm-hmm. The shaft has, so there's only one way to get those gears on there. Make sure that the gears are indexed properly. Sometimes there's a dot on the shaft and a dot on the gear. Make sure that those gears are lined up with that. Hopefully that helps you out there. I'm kind of at a loss for anything else because, I mean, if you were talking about a Husaberg, I would just say, well, your Kickstarter's probably broken in 2 parts already, and you don't have to worry about that anymore. Just bump start it. Jared Beck says, what's the best chainsaw for clearing trail? A big-ass gas one.
or lots of batteries.
Yeah, lots of batteries. So that's a really good question. Kind of depends on like what you want to do. So I was running a Makita last year. This year I'm using a Milwaukee, and I don't know the numbers of them, but mine has like what is that, a 14-inch bar?
You probably had a 14-inch today.
14-inch bar. It's the M18 battery.
Well, this is where I've got the Milwaukee too with an M18. I think it's the M18. It's the bigger one.
Yeah.
You had an M18 and an M12, I believe. You had 2 sizes.
Yeah, and one was a 6 amp hour battery, and the other one was a 12 amp hour battery.
Right.
They're 18 volts.
18 volts, but 6 amp, 12. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we ran. No, we had battery left yesterday. Yeah, we had half of the big battery. Our battery yesterday, our small battery was what, 4? I mean, well, no, we went through that one big one.
We did it. That was a 27-inch.
Yeah, it was a big tree. Yeah, we did one big tree, 2 cuts on one big tree, so it would be like, and then we did what, 4 or 5 more like this, yeah. Maybe 4 more. You know, the 6-8 inchers, and the battery was dead. And then we put the big one in there, and
it lasted the rest of the day.
Yeah, lasted the rest of the day.
Nothing big though.
But
the heat, I think it's the heat in the motors.
Yeah, because we were running it hard. It ran fine for the first tree. It never did anything. But afterwards, it was
tree.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it wasn't a big load on it. And we think the motor was heating up a little bit because the battery was showing good, but it would just kind of boop boop. You know.
And that's what my Milwaukee does. And one of the best chainsaws I've used for just, it's easy to carry, or just the little, the Milwaukees. They all make them, like Ryobi's, whoever. It's just the little 6-inch blade that you can carry.
A little teeny tiny thing.
Those things will cut. They're as good as the silky saws.
Yep.
Only you don't have to work at it.
Yeah. When I was doing gas, I was always running steel chainsaws, and there was a MS 192, I think is the saw, because it doesn't have it has the top handle.
It's the top handle. It's a limb saw.
Yeah, it's a limbing saw, and so it's not that big. So those are pretty good, and you can actually put you can put a 14-inch bar on it easy, and go even more. They're strong enough to pull a bigger bar if you're careful with it, and then it sort of depends on just how you're set up, what you're planning on doing. If I'm just trail riding, I like the electric ones now. I'm really happy with this Milwaukee overall. I mean, I really need to kind of just go test it with that when I'm not out riding a little bit more, because anytime I'm using it, it's just for trail clearing. I think that going electric, because you can put the saw in the mount and take the batteries out. If you have buddies that are willing to carry your battery, you know what I'm talking about? If your buddies will carry your battery for you.
As long as you wear a small enough backpack, you don't have to.
You don't have to carry my battery. Yeah. And I didn't really feel comfortable asking your friends if they wanted to carry my batteries today. So I just nutted up and carried the damn batteries.
Yeah.
But if you can, it's pretty light and you don't notice it so much. You know, with the batteries off.
Yeah, I rode with your
Makita.
The Makita a few years ago, and without the batteries, you didn't even notice it was up there. And it's really nice.
Hey, it's the time of the show where let's see. Rob Fisher says, "Thanks for the help splitting the cases this weekend for the very first time. So wish me luck. I'm sure I'll be back on here for more questions next week." Hey, so Robert, if you do that, take pictures. If something's confusing, take pictures and send me an email. So it's easy. It's my name. It's Jimmy@dirtbiketest.com. Send me the picture and with the questions, and I can just bring them onto the show, especially when I get them as an email. And then it's a little bit easier because I'm sitting here trying to visualize Kickstarter gears, and all I see is I just see Husabergs. Don't ask me why. my Swedish built Husaberg Kickstarter gear, and they're just like
is that left-sided too?
Yes, bomb waiting to happen. So yeah, Robert, thanks for submitting those questions. So it's the time of the show where Casey, as my co-host, will pour us a little bit of tequila. I did have some tequila tonight. You can have some if you want. I didn't have 2 small shot glasses.
This is Jimmy's shot glass.
Well, no, I was going to have it out of this one, but I didn't. I mean, we could share. I have no problem sharing. But then it's kind of like if we're sharing the thing, then I mean it's almost like kissing, right? If you run out of the tequila bottle. So what do we got there, Casey?
I have no clue.
I have no clue. Just put it right here. Do all the work right
I don't
right
even
there.
know how to get into that thing.
It's a trap door. It's so that kids can't have any.
I need to open that.
Anybody recognize this box? What is it? What do we got there?
Reserve.
Yeah, I'm getting into the good stuff right now. Can't even get this in Nevada anymore. Oh, there we go. Opening the trap door. There we go. It's got a little gem inside there.
There's a story in there for it, but
because it's really expensive. Look at that. There we go.
It's really expensive, but it's trap door is not that good because it's been accessed.
Yeah. So no, we use it. It's so that's mine or that's yours.
This is yours.
Okay. You're not gonna have any?
I'll have some.
Oh, you're gonna take the big glass. Look at Casey
How
wanted
much
the
do you
big.
want?
I'll take a good pour because that's good right there. Yeah. I'll take a nice pour just because this is good sipping tequila. I'm gonna get my tequila podcast started here pretty soon. So yeah, I'll hold this up to the.
It's backwards.
Well, it's backwards to us, but there we go. This is a nice one.
Are we riding tomorrow?
This is not gonna prevent riding.
Never know.
There's a little sipper. That's actually really good. I'm not a big Cuervo fan, but they do right by that one for sure. Okay, so on to the thing. Do we have any questions? This is a part of
my smart ass brother.
Okay, here we go. Got question number 2 from Ronnie.
Oh, I didn't read it right the first time.
Okay.
I thought he was asking, do electric saws use oil? But
yes.
I guess it's bar oil. Yes.
Bar oil, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, electric. But I don't. When I'm cutting pine, I very rarely oil the chain. I'll do it. I'll oil it. I'll put a little bit in there just so it gets in there, but it's not like if it's a hardwood where you're really laying into it and stuff. So yeah, but they take, but they're messy. They get, for some reason, the electric ones seem like they leak way more than the gas ones. I think gas ones are just dirtier in general.
My Milwaukee leaks like crazy.
Yeah, mine does too. Well, mine leaks out of the cap and everywhere, so I just kind of don't put much in there. I put enough, and sometimes I'll just lube the chain. I'll just squirt like chain lube or something on the chain, and then call it good, and it'll get me through the day. So, anyways, what's the best saw? It's just like the motorcycle. Like, what are you trying to do with it? A lot of times when I ride, I go and if there's big logs, if a trail's completely blocked by a big log, I kind of make a plan to go in and get that and maybe a couple other ones with a big saw. I'll take a big, like a 026 or some, a really good steel chainsaw, so you can just rip through those things. Or if you're going out on a like a full on trail work day where you're really clearing a trail, I always take a gas one. I take a big,
something that lasts.
I take a way bigger one. I don't take a little one. I take a big one. So, okay, on to the next segment of the show here, where we go and answer our YouTube questions. Let's see, so what was, I'm trying to think, trying to look at the name of the guy who sent me his thing. So, at NanoMan831, he's talking about the conquering the Big Bear Hard Enduro route. He says, where can I find GPX tracks for this route? Usually at the sign-up table of the event that you go to sign up and pay to do the event. I know all you cheapskates out there like to just, scab everything. But yeah. And I hopefully, you realize that you're supposed to pay for those kind of things, but that's where you get the GPS tracks. And Bob Vincent 4841 says, I want a WR350R. Come on, Yamaha. Well, we want a YZ350FX and a YZ350F and a WR350F, and I think we're ahead of you in line. So go. Wait, be prepared to wait for a little while. Ja 7025 says, modern 4-stroke enduro platforms now have great flexible engines, especially the middle weights like Sherco TM Fanex 300 4-strokes and KTM and Beta's 350s. Hard enduro to desert racing, they just work well for normies like me. Okay, so you're complaining about, we did a 450 comparison, and yeah, 350s are good. I randomly switch back to riding a 350 every once in a while. 500 is kind of too much for trails. The 300 2-stroke is it's so good, and it has way more power than the 500. I mean, just
I rode 500s
rideable
for years up here and thought, why is everybody complaining about them? Until I got a 300, and it's like, why did I wait so long to get on a 300?
But then you get on a 350, and it's like, okay, a 350 is way better than a 500, except you don't have that torque.
Right.
And you just kind of like learn to, not that it's just when you're doing the really technical stuff, it just doesn't have the torque that the 500 just lumber right up, and you got to pay a little bit of attention with it with a 350.
Have you ridden the 150s much?
Yes. No torque.
Yeah.
They're I mean, it's better than a 125, but just especially when you start getting up there in weight, and at my weight right now,
that's a different subject.
200s were good, but 150s were no good, and that's the problem. Is I compare
for smaller kids, though. When you're talking about it, 100, 120, 125 pounds.
It still just doesn't have and the way they come on, when the fuel injected bikes do have better torque, but if you're talking about a really light kid, it's kind of like the weight of the bike is a big part of the equation,
right.
And it's still got most of the weight of a big bike. You just don't have that. It doesn't have the flywheel mass and the inertia, and it's just that first 1,000 usable RPMs, it's barely pulling its own weight. And then once it starts making power, it makes it kind of quick.
I rode one briefly out in the Nevada desert a few months ago, and just cruising up some of the hills and stuff. It felt good to me. I mean, nothing overbearing, but just easy to ride. I felt. I don't know if you can keep the hills we had today or yesterday.
You'd be hard on the clutch.
You'd be burning the clutch. Yeah.
Wash the hams back. Yeah, cheers. No sandbagging, says Ruben. Ruben, what's sandbagging? Oh, on the shot. On this? No, this is sipping stuff, bro. No, there's no sandbagging, and I'm not even chasing it with this. This is to quench my thirst, and this is for good sipping. So, what is it? What does Kyle want to know?
The first beer I've seen him have in 3 days.
I only drink for the show.
Okay.
It's everything. All the other drinking is a stunt. I mean, I don't even do it anymore. At least right now. What does Kyle Nolan want to know?
Where are we?
Well, right here.
No.
That
Best rear tire T7 is deep sand that doesn't scream like a
banshee
on the street. Michelin Desert Race, worth the money.
I mean, I'm very rarely influenced by any of our sponsors or anything like that. But currently on my Tenere, I'm running the Pirelli Rally tires, and I really like them, especially the front. Actually, I'm gonna blame Pirelli on the crash I had where I broke my ribs on one of my adventure bikes, because I got so used to riding my Tenere with the Rally tires that I got on a bike with a more dual sporty tire, brand that I used to run, and I kind of forgot what I was on, and the difference in performance, in traction and grip off road cost me big time. So I'm running the Pirelli Rally Scorpion Rallies. Is the Michelin Desert Race worth the money? No, absolutely not. I just told you just get the Pirellis. They're probably the same price as the thing. No, the Michelin Rallies Desert Races are also really good tires as well. Very, very similar. In fact, I think on an adventure bike it'd be hard to tell. Now back to the Howl. I've been riding mine quite a bit on a lot of gravel roads and more pavement than I wish, just because I was connecting roads and stuff, and it does make a little bit of noise, but I think that's kind of a subjective thing. Most of you guys have a pipe on your T7. I run a stock exhaust on mine, and the noise of the tire does not bother me. So, I mean, yeah, they make some noise. It's kind of similar to a mud tire on a truck. If that's, they don't necessarily go wah wah wah, but they do hum a little bit. I don't notice it after a little while. Garrett Carlson has a question. Any advice for a guy who sits down too much, in quotes, according to other riders? Okay, I'm just going to, before I even go any farther, I just watched a clip from On Any Sunday, Malcolm Smith racing at Elsinore. He was beating everybody by minutes, never stood up, hardly. Anyways, no, he did stand up. See, I can get to the top 10 overall in Hare and Hound, District 37, and Northern Nevada Desert riding Vet A class. I stand up to attack whoops and rough stuff, but I tend to sit more than the other guys. Standing feels like it uses too much arm strength. Is gripping with the legs really a thing? Doesn't feel possible to get any grip from legs on the side of the bike. Well, Garrett, as a former teacher of riding techniques, and something that I actually know a lot about, I'm just going to answer your questions in order. You stand up to attack whoops and rough stuff, but tend to sit more than the other guys. It doesn't matter what the other guys are doing. It's what works for you, okay? So that's number one. And if standing feels like it uses too much arm strength, it's because you are out of balance. You're falling off the motorcycle and you're using your arms to hang on. So you're not really standing up. Even though it looks like you're standing up because your butt's off the seat, I promise you, you're not standing up, okay? And you know when you're supposed to grip the bike? Well, if you listen to all the other internet coaches and stuff like that, they say, always grip the bike, grip the bike, grip the bike. You know when I grip the bike? When I'm falling off of it. That's the only time I grip the bike. Other than that, I want to hover on top of it. I don't want to use any energy to control the bike. So if you're falling off the motorcycle, it just tells me right away that you don't really understand the balance, and you need to get your weight more forward. You need to lean forward. And you're saying, well, doesn't that make the front end put more weight on the front end? Yes. So that means you twist the throttle harder, and then the front end comes off the ground. And so you start using your throttle to control the attitude of the bike and allow the bike to move underneath you, and you don't have to hang on to it. So, it's very hard to get grip from your legs on the side of the bike. And it kind of depends on how tall you are. Like taller guys have an even harder time. And when they tell you to grip with your knees, sometimes your knees are above the seat. So they squat down and they try to grip with their damn knees on the gas tank because they heard, I got to grip with the bike. Don't grip the bike. Hover over the top of the bike and make sure you're in balance. And JB Black, who I'm repping no thing. Hey, how's our good team with the bad name doing? That's what I want to know, JB Black. Steg pegs can help you lock onto the bike with your legs. This is true, as well as other varied assistance applications. So steg pegs will give you an index point that you can use, but if you got to imagine this, your bike is a very dynamic thing and it's moving up and down and back and forth. And if those steg pegs start to push you forward, it's going to put you in an awkward position. So I've seen guys use them to their advantage. I hated them when I had them on the bike because it kind of like, especially on downhills, it started pushing me too far forward. Like I couldn't get back like I wanted to. And so it was, no, steg pegs are, it's like knuckles that are kind of back by where your airbox is. Mm-hmm. So your boot runs back into them and, and they kind of catch you from falling off the bike. So there's some motocrossers that started running them, and they were really good at disguising because they didn't want people to see them. But these guys, they weren't the top guys. And people say, well, what about the top guys? And they have grip tape all over the bike. Hell yeah, they do. Because when they want to grip the bike, they want to hang on to it. That's when they're falling off. They use the grip to catch them back there. So I'll argue with anybody all day long about this. And if something, they're, and it could be a little bit of your bike setup. Your handlebars could be too far back. They could be too high. Too high is a really common problem. People do bar risers and stuff. There's all kinds of stuff that can go wrong, but it starts with you. And I would work on your body position and being balanced on the motorcycle before I would start spending money on any sort of parts. So, Jerry, how's our team doing? How's the good team with the bad name doing?
Well, Ronnie had a question.
We got another question.
Ronnie had a comment, I guess.
Comment. Okay, what's the comment?
I went to Jimmy Lewis riding school, and slow is my new go. Well, sometimes you got to slow down to go faster, right?
I think I say you want to ride perfect. Yeah. You want to ride as perfect as possible. And if you're making mistakes, the first step to correcting them is often slow down. And here's the problem is people, I can't slow down because I'm going to fall over. Well, what did you just tell me? You just told me you're out of balance. Right. Because the slower you can go, I always say the slower I can go, the faster I can go. Right. Because when I go slow, I really have to focus on my technique and my balance or I'll fall over. When I go really fast, I have all this momentum that's now helping me.
Pushing you through it.
That's aiding me through the balance imperfections. And I don't want that to catch me off guard. So when I'm really balanced, as I start going too fast, I start feeling out of balance. Like, oh, that's not a good feeling. Yeah. And I know how to adjust it. So anyways, Chris is replying to Diane Madrid. Diane, the reed block can be glued in place with an adhesive. I use Seal-All from AutoZone. I think he says AutoZone. Yellow tube. It's a form of super glue that is fuel resistant and very strong. Glue both sides and it should hold. So Chris, are you talking about gluing the kind of the area where the screws are on the reed block, or are you talking about gluing that rubber kind of stopper thing that goes on the back of it? That would be a good question. So I think there's a little bit of a delay going on with the show. And Garrett's getting back to us, and he says, thanks, that makes sense. I do use the throttle the way you described and stand when balanced like you said. Accelerating and braking, I'm pretty much sitting. I am tall, guys, so maybe that's how I have to ride. No. Tall guys, you have sometimes your pendulum effect is a huge advantage. Times aren't that far from the pros, so I don't think I'm doing much wrong. Well, quit listening to my friends who are slow. Hey, so the other thing is when you're tall, it's hard to stand up. You know, it's hard. You're more folded like tent sticks. Right. So a lot of times, tall guys running a tall seat really helps because it's easier for them to stand up. And they're like, oh, I don't like the way it feels in the turns. So
one of the guys I ride with runs a tall seat, but he raises his bars. His adventure bike, I'd say it's got a 2.5-inch lift on it. I always just like, how do you ride the bike like that?
Well, when you put tall bars on, it allows you to it makes you more upright, and you don't have to lean forward. You think about it, most of the time when you're riding, you're actually leaning forward. Right. And tall bars, you don't have to, because they're closer to you. You end up leaning back, so you gas it, you end up falling off the back of the bike. So, anyways, yeah. So that's my take on it. But I think overall, I ride more standing, like especially on adventure bikes and out in the desert. I'm standing up all the time, and just because it's more comfortable. If my desk at my office, when I used to have a desk and I used to work in an office, if my desk were shaking like my seat does, I sure as hell wouldn't sit down on it. Because you think about how much energy that puts into your back and all that stuff like that. I'd rather use my ankles and my knees and the pivot of my hips to absorb some of that shock as opposed to taking it right up my spine. So, yeah, I wish I could teach schools. I'd just say come to my school, but insurance got too expensive.
Are you doing schools anymore?
No.
Just
no.
Canceled?
Hell no. Canceled. I got canceled.
Cancel culture.
Dina Spence says, that's a cue for you to answer so I can have a sip of beer. Right here. That one right there.
New to sport. It really gets your pounding the point of hyperventilating.
Your heart pounding to the point of hyperventilating.
I can tell you, climbing that hill yesterday.
I didn't get that.
Actually, the only time I got that way yesterday was going up. It was that same turn. I wouldn't even say I got there.
So the only time I got heated yesterday.
It's funny because we were talking about this with Riley and those guys the other day. Remember heart rate when we were going up that?
Yeah, the extreme enduro section. Yeah.
And how I forget his name. Adam. He
descending it.
He was descending it multiple times, and I remember that where I got to that one point, I was.
Oh yeah, you were gassed there.
Yeah, I was gassed there. One, it was.
Well, I kept stopping. Yeah. I would just go, and then when I felt my heart rate rise up, I would just stop.
That's actually interesting because that was one of the things when you challenge what's the point? At the heart rate, if you can't recover, that's when
it's real problematic.
It's problematic, and that's where we got on that hard enduro section.
I think she was like, what really gets your heart pounding to the point of hyperventilating? Well, you shouldn't get there. Yeah. You shouldn't get there. And if you are getting there, something's wrong. You know, you're outside of, your normal. I mean, unless like, your cat calling you for dinner makes your heart pound to the point of hyperventilating, then you've got a problem.
What was Riley saying? This is 180 at that point?
Yeah.
Which is.
I bet you mine never got over 140 going up that hill. But
I did because I got hot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because you went the wrong way, had to turn your bike around. down in the
I
canyon.
thought I had a secret spot, secret section to go through.
Good line. Yeah. Oh, don't worry, I found all those. I was good at those. I think that, yeah, you whatever it is making you uncomfortable. It's if you're hyperventilating, yeah, you gotta roll back a little bit and figure out what's causing that. But I mean, sometimes you're going to do a new jump or something like that, or you're going to kind of go over something, or
I don't jump.
You don't jump. Yeah, maybe there's just something that might be a little timid and stuff like that. And if it's going to make you hyperventilate, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I just plain wouldn't do it. I'm trying to think. There was one thing I had to push the bike or move the bike around where I got a little bit. I felt the heart rate kind of come up, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to get through it. And I pushed it a little extra to get through it. And I'm like, oh, that was too much, but it wasn't. I from all the training I used to do, and then especially when I was trying to do ultra running, like long distance running, like the worst thing you can do is run your heart rate up high, because you're never going to recover. And so I taught myself. I felt what that felt like, and it's like an alarm goes off.
And that's what I used to do when I trained a lot. I'd push myself to that, just more for see how fast I could recover. But that was on the bikes or whatever like that. Just
to try to run it up there to see what that feels like. I mean, that's part of training. So, okay, back to the YouTube questions. And David Moore 723 says, my dad has a TX300, which is a great bike, but the brake techs are not my favorite. You know what? I tend to agree with you now. Actually, I didn't have any problems with them, and then the gas that we have at Dirt Bike Test right now. Let's see, you very much as you described that they are very soft initially and require megapole lever. Megapole the lever to brake, the way Nissan and Brembo options seem to work on other bikes. Maybe a change to better brake pads would help. So I haven't done a full breakdown on to see exactly what's causing the brake techs to be. Is it the piston diameter of the master cylinder? Is the slave cylinder piston diameters? Is it a rubber hose? There's all different kinds of things that kind of affect that. And I don't know if that's just the tune of the brake techs, and that's the way they want them to feel. Because as a higher level rider, we're used to a certain thing, but maybe a more novice rider, that not very much bite and big pull is a good thing. And this is where you got to kind of say, hey, maybe the bikes with the brake techs were maybe marketed to a different group, and or it's a price point cost thing. Who knows? But yeah, I tend to agree with you that they're not like the other brakes on the other Austrian brands. But I don't know, that'd be a good story for Trevor to do, because I don't get paid enough to do that stuff anymore. We'll see what happens. So, informative videos more people should watch, says Red Bale 4093. Of course, like I try to tell people this all the time, but then they just hear me talking and talking and talking and talking, and what do you know? Like I said, they kicked me out of the town meetings where I ran over my 3 minutes. Todd Beecham in all caps says, I have 2 black and white ones. He's talking about a bike, by the way. 2023 models. They are a great little bike. I bought it too because I know they would go up in price, and they did. He's talking about the Honda XR150. Okay. Glad you outsmarted the tariffs. Stark Varg first test. Oh, here we go. Nice video, says JNew 3755. Your summary was very well said. That was good because I did it while I was riding.
Did you ride one of those?
A Stark?
Yeah.
I did, and I put it on video. You know anybody else has ridden one?
Not recently.
Let's see.
What is it?
It says,
you can ride it once, but not twice.
If you ride it 2 times, then it wasn't a mistake. Okay. I didn't ride it a second time this time.
I noticed you didn't get on it the other day.
No, it's fine. I had my own bike.
I was the bike itself. It felt good.
Oh wait, you rode one?
I may have thrown a leg over it for a minute. But just a short distance.
We rode with Riley again the other day, and I told, hey, Casey, you got to hop on this thing and try it. And it like I said, so thank you for saying my summary was very well said. He says, our group of 3 today on 17 miles of hard, steep single track with a lot of switchbacks were on 3 different types of bikes. My 12-year-old tried his Electric and Company, ETM Electric out there for the first time. He normally rides gas, and we had a 4-stroke 230X Pro, I don't know what that, and a Beta X trainer. Okay, we all came back sweaty with big smiles. If it goes in the dirt, we love. All dirt bikes are a blessing. Buying a Suron Ultra B this weekend. It's a weapon in the tight stuff. My Beta 300 RR will always be my favorite. Okay. So
how far does the Suron go?
You know what, Jay New, you need to start your own podcast and tell everybody about your freaking bikes that you ride. Like, God. Let's see. Somebody's talking about what's the best bike ever made that I did with Jay Clark. Isn't the 05 and the 06 Honda 450 the best bike that has the grenade valve seats? No, it was the 250s had a little bit of valve seat. They weren't grenading. They wore quickly. But really not.
I may have towed a 250 out with valve problems.
Did the person that owned it let dust go by the air filter?
Most likely.
Yeah, okay, there. So they wear normally, just a little bit faster things, but if you do anything at all that run super shitty gas, over rev them, let dirt go by, then they're bad.
Well, maybe all 3 of those.
Yeah, probably. It's usually what happens. Somebody says the XR 400. Why are people watching that stupid video again? That thing's like 2 years old. Let's see here. And Diana's thanking Chris for that adhesive. Chris, you got to, because I don't remember anything I do on the show. Once I hang up on the show, kind of like the phone, I forget. It's like I say, it's the Men in Black, and they have that gun.
I'll have to remind Ronnie of the
adhesive. At the end of Ronnie needs to know that adhesive too. It's like I get shot with that gun, I forget everything I said tonight. So it didn't really happen. And even though we recorded it, it's on YouTube's. Again, if you are finding the show entertaining, you can send us a lot of money. Just put it in a cash and an envelope and send it to my email address. Okay.
What about mine?
I pay out you guest hosts or something like that. You got some tequila. That tequila is probably more than we'll make on this show. I mean, just the sips we're having off of this. Somebody says on our Tech Talk Taco Tuesday from last week, it says, you guys mentioned the small gas tank on the KX. If you want a larger tank and want to install a steering stabilizer, buy the IMS, not the Acerbis. And so good. Thanks for letting us know that. Sometimes the Acerbis guys do not take into consideration steering stabilizers. They think about it, but it's not their primary concern. I wonder if whoever wrote that, I'm looking to see who it is. Riders, Oregon. I was wondering if he works for IMS. So, but no, it's just good information. That's good that he actually took the time to reply to us and let us know about this. Because, the KXs have smaller tanks. People are telling us about their bike. Oh, boy, what the heck? I pushed too many buttons here. Give me 1 second. It's rebooting. I lost my position again. I can't say this name on the podcast because I'll get a ban for it. And now I got to put my tequila down here. Hold on 1 second. Do we have any questions in the chat? No, nothing there. Let's see. A Hardcastle says this bike sounds like a surprising, versatile, and fun machine. Perfect for building confidence and exploring trails. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts after putting it to the test. Well, that's what we do here.
Which one's that?
It was an XR150 video.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Cove FSE 450R. It's a dirt rider dual purpose bike. Okay. Let's see. And that's a mosquito. I'm going to get bit here. All for you guys doing this show. All the suffering that I do here. Let's see. Yeah, somebody's going to keep their KLX 300 for a long time. Ozo 111 says, I think I've had most dirt bikes out there, and in the end, it's hard to beat a 300 with a solid map and a system on. Easy to ride and solid most of the rides. If you're not going mostly roads, then the 500 is much. Oh, if you're not going most roads, then the 500 is much better. Well, Arizo,
It's the opposite.
Thanks for typing that in, even though English is obviously your second language. We'll see. We'll kind of get right on there. Let's see. Kellogg Gaming says, I can't find any info, and he's talking about his free mods for his KX450, on how to upload a new map to my bike. Was hoping someone could give me a quick rundown on what to do through some quick steps to point you in the right direction. Owner's manual. I promise you every bit of information you need is in the owner's manual, not hanging out on YouTube. Which means we should just cancel ourselves, right?
Download that today.
Yeah, if you were in the chat, I could talk you through it. But there's an app. Does Kawasaki? Yeah, Kawasaki has an app. I have it on my phone. It's not as good as the Yamaha app because I think you have to pay for it, or you have to pay for it to work with your thing. But Yamaha sponsors this show. Look at that. That's the Power Tuner app right there. And if you had a YZ450, actually a WR450, I have all these maps, and it's trying to connect to the internet to find all my maps. These are really good maps that you could have.
Can you
JL version 4?
those?
I could send it to you. I could text it to you. I could email it to you. The Yamaha, and everybody can have this app. It's free. You don't even have to have the bike.
Can you download the map to it? So
I Wi-Fi it to my bike.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's just Yamaha?
Yamaha's the only one that's free, I'm pretty sure.
Jimmy's getting freaked out about bugs out here.
There's a lot of weird bugs. Like, we don't have these in the desert. That thing's trying to eat my leg. That one. That was a big one. So anyways, Kellogg, just go down and buy a Yamaha, and then you don't have to. It's like all right there. It's easy to do.
Just Bluetooth your bike, huh?
Yeah, this is one of the best things about the Yamahas. It's especially like for the motocross. I'm always wanting to tune a little bit, and it's crazy what you can do. And so these are all just different maps that I made for even my WR.
So you make the maps? Or
Yeah, they give you a few of them, and then I tune them. Yeah, you can if you say, hey, it has too much throttle response, you can add a little bit of fuel here and take some ignition out and do that and send it. It all works really good. Back to our XR150 video, which is getting lots of views. Oh, shot it, says, after a year of watching videos, I settled on this Honda XR150L as my first ever bike. Sadly, Australia have just changed the rules. You can no longer get road registration as the 150 engine does not meet emission standards. I'll just have to keep driving my 3.6 liter V6 car instead. Well, that's a bummer for you.
Sounds like California.
Yeah, it sounds like. I'm glad that Australia is finally catching up to California. You should take that Newsom guy down there, because he'd probably go down there in his like hot yoga pants and
we'll send him for free.
Yeah, take over.
Yeah.
That was good. I think I'm gonna have a little bit more.
Been waiting for that.
Okay. What else did we said? I did a review on an AJP PR7 last year, and David Bravo says, great review, Jimmy. $1 million question. AJP PR7 or Cove 450? Street legal. Thanks.
AJP, that old Husky?
It's got the old Husky engine. Yeah. It's their own frame. It's a Portuguese designed. I don't know exactly where it's built. Portuguese design frame. It has a big, kind of a 4-gallon tank.
Right.
Under. It's raining now.
That's a good thing. We'll take
yeah, it's a good. I just want to make sure the computer's not going to get wet.
Does that thing over there care?
No, it's a Starlink. It doesn't care. I would go with honestly, I would probably, just because like that kind of bike, I want to go do some like longer roads and stuff like that. And I would go with the AJP. Everything I said in the video is true. I didn't make any up. We're gonna go ahead and pivot this whole table.
Move the table.
We're gonna move it in
to the left.
Yeah, just in a little bit so I don't. There we go. Portable studio here. Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. You should be amazed. You know what's really good is we have a lot of drop frames. Yeah, internet connections and all this stuff.
Starlink.
Oh, here we go. Let's see. Somebody's trolling us there. Let's see. ABC123 says on our XR150 video, it says, "You mentioned you're a heavy guy in the video." Oh, I did this question last week. I now remember this. He says, well, that's personal, right? What is your height and weight? Okay, I'm 5'9", and I'm scaling in probably today at 200 pounds, if you don't mind sharing. Well, I just did. And is being a larger rider a deal breaker? Well, you're 6'2" and 245 pounds, so I think we're probably proportionally about the same. Yeah, on a good day. So he's really 280. I quote my real weight. I know I got stuff to work on. You should, like I told.
That's why we didn't eat for 2 days on the trail, or drink.
It's part of my training program. It's the Jimbo program. It's easy to not easy to follow. It's really good. So we're done with our YouTube questions. So if you're watching this and you want to. If you're listening to this, go to our YouTube channel, comment, like, share, do all those stupid things that they tell you to do all the time, and you go, I'm too lazy. So if you're so lazy you can't like go and push a thumbs up button, if you can't give us some thumbs ups, then you should probably just hang up on yourself right now. Garrett Carlson says, question for the people who say hard to beat a 300.
Hey,
then why does
did you bring the cat
the
to the
podium? You know what? It's a black cat. Bring it over here. If that cat wants to come on the show, it'll make my cat super jealous.
The cat's like, I don't know whose cat this is.
Yeah, I bet you. I mean, you only have one close by neighbor, but yeah. So we got pussies. We got pussy on the show tonight.
As long as the pussy eats the mouse, I'll be happy.
Yeah. Hey, you should go hang out at my motorhome, bro. There's a lot of food in that thing.
Pick that
for
cat
you.
up.
Pick it up.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. We got a cat.
Hey, cat.
Look,
where'd you come from?
it's just like Selma. I have a cat named. No, you can't have any of my tequila, bud.
Oh,
so another cat on the show. Here, Casey, that's your cat now.
Hey, don't scratch me. What the hell?
So
I'm a dog person.
it says hard to beat a 300. Then why does the podium in nearly every off-road race have almost all 450s? I'm not a 300 hater. I have one of the new Australian TBI 300s, but my nearly 10-year-old 3500 YZ450FX destroys it on everything except hard enduro. Well, yeah, because it's a Yamaha, and Yamaha sponsors this show, and we can't say anything but great things about 10-year-old YZ450FXs, except you should go to your Yamaha dealer and buy a new one, because the new one is really good. I was the only guy in our test group. There's going to be some 450 off-road videos coming out. I'm the only guy that really liked the Yamaha out of our whole group, which is strange, and it's not because they sponsor this show. I really liked it. Okay.
Are they going to come out with an electric start on the Yamaha? 2 strokes?
We're not talking. Yamaha doesn't have. We have to completely dismiss 300 2-strokes because Yamaha doesn't make one. I mean, there's no way that I would say anything good about the bike that I was riding all day today because it was orange. I have to say bad things about it. Should we talk about the brakes?
That was just a Chase Sexton moment.
I know, but evidently.
I figured, going down a steep hill, I was wondering who was going to run out of brakes first, and that would be you. Maybe it's the weight. I don't know. But
oh, the tequila's finally kicking in, huh, Casey? Yeah, cheers. So
but it was a steep hill, so I'll give you that.
I was riding my damn brake, but since that bike's been underwater and a couple other things, it's 2019. It's been used. I've never done the brake fluid, and it was cooked. It was bad.
Looking at the color of it today.
Yeah, the way it was coming out, it was bad. And so I had to. It's
like
raining.
rain.
It's raining, you stupid cat. You just shut up. We're trying to do a damn podcast here. I realized first of all, it's been a while since I've been on like a 4-mile downhill, and I just wasn't thinking, and I was constantly dragging my brake. On that particular bike, I've backbled the front a lot, and it seemed like it was sitting for a long time earlier in the year, and I noticed the front brake wasn't that good, and I actually had to do the thing where you zip tie the lever, where you put pressure on it, lever, to zip tie it, to kind of, because I think it just got dirt in there or something. But anyways, so the brakes weren't great. I'm going down this long downhill, riding the rear brake, and I'm kind of noticing my front brakes getting soft. Because we were kind of boogieing down there. I noticed the front brake getting soft, and I'm like, hey, I should probably get off and back bleed it. 30 seconds later, I used the rear brake. It worked, and I lifted up, and it came back down on it, and it was just went shoot right there. I'm like, uh-oh, I really got to do this. And luckily,
There's plenty of logs to stop you. So.
I still had front brake to slow it down. So I slowed her down, got her stopped, and then here's what I did. My brakes are overheating, and it was mostly because I was dragging them. But evidently, if you're a super high-level rider, your KTM brakes could fail. We saw this with Chase Sexton.
Chase and Jimmy are in the same league.
Yeah. I'll get on the other. So here's the tech tip that you're going to get out of this. If your brakes go bad, especially your rear from dragging it or something, and you're going down a hill, stop.
Right.
Compress the caliper.
Yeah.
Use your foot and compress the caliper and pump it back up. Compress the caliper, pump it back up. So you're going to get that super hot fluid out of there. And you're going to get the hottest fluid, and it's going to mix. You're going to pump it back and forth and pump it back and forth. So I did it 5 or 6 times, and my brakes came back. And then I was really careful because the caliper's still hot, the rotor's still really hot, everything. And I did the same thing to the front and the front got way better right away. I mean, the front, there was definitely air in it. When I opened that front up this morning, shocking alert, I actually worked on my bike today. I bled all the fluid out of it.
Good.
With a 8mm wrench.
The gas station special.
Yeah, 8mm wrench and just regular .4 right in the top, and there was no special tools needed. One 8mm wrench to open the banjo bolt, and the Torx wrench to take the cap off, and the pliers to pull the cap off. Or just bled it out. Actually, most of the way I was bleeding it out was I cracked open. You saw what I did. I just cracked and left it open, and just kept filling it from the top.
Right.
Because the pressure is gonna push it down. I'm not worried about getting. You don't need any special tools. So I just rebuilt the brakes. They work perfect today. So okay, so back bleeding when they heat can give you a little bit more time, and then you can also be more careful with it, and then get a little more time. I used to when I was doing ISD qualifiers and stuff, we would have some of these long terrain tests that my brakes, especially on my XR250, would get hot.
Do cats do this, Jimmy?
Yeah. You just made a friend for life.
About to have a little pussy in my lap.
And I would back bleed. I would stop in the special test and back bleed it once, because it would make when I could start feeling it getting mushy. Well, she's got the claws out there.
Dude, this cat's like vicious.
Yeah. Just here, don't touch my drink. Don't touch my drinks. Get out of there. So anyways, that's so back to the whole KTM Chase Sexton thing. People are asking me, like, what do you think really happened? I'm like, I don't know what really happened. I wasn't there. I watched it on TV. What I really thought happened was, when I first saw what happened, I thought something in the front brake locked up.
That's what it looked like.
That's what it looked like, just from the video. Okay, I thought the front brake. But then I'm going to go ahead and go. I waited till some information press release came out. They said that their data showed that the rear brake didn't work. And then he used the front brake to try to slow the bike down, and he went off the jump with the front brake locked. The strange thing is that
I did that today going over one of those water bars. I'm like, oh, don't lock your brake up going over the water bar.
Oh, so now you think that's a Chase Sexton riding style, and since you're riding a KTM, you got to do that.
Yeah.
Front brake out of here. over the. I don't mind the cat. It's not bothering me.
Can't have people food. He needs to kill mice.
Oh, that's true. Well, there's nothing much left in there. I actually need some more of that. I didn't need enough. You got to feed this monster underneath here. But what was weird is when he got up, the front brake never unlocked. And there's no explanation of why that happened other than they said maybe in the crash something happened. And I could see that it crashed, something got stuck in the lever or whatever. I don't know. I would really like to talk to them I wish they would give you better information, but then again, but the thing is now that the information was kind of incomplete, I'm just going to theorize that if you're an extremely high level rider, you might have problems with your KTM brakes, like I did yesterday. Yeah, but I fixed it. I think.
3,000 foot descents.
Yeah,
dude.
so maybe I need to come over there and bleed Chase Sexton's brakes if he comes back to racing. But who knows? So I don't like to talk about racing unless it involves myself. So okay, I think we've answered the majority of the questions. If anybody has any questions in the chat, but anyways, so Garrett, I don't know if we got to the bottom of his question. Why are 300s better? And his YZ gets 25 miles to the gallon, and the 300 gets 15 miles a gallon. Well, your 300, something's wrong with it. Because what are we getting?
27?
4, yeah. And we're riding tight technical trails.
Slow going stuff. So
Yeah. So, why does everybody say 300? Like, they're not, for the top racers in desert, they're not better. No. They're absolutely not better. There's some guys that go fast on them, but for trail riding, for extreme enduro stuff, yeah, it's the only game in town. But I think everybody fashions themselves an extreme enduro rider these days.
It's the thing to do. So. I mean, for the type of riding we're doing, the trails, they don't stall. I mean, they lug like crazy. They're lightweight. I know
they're quiet.
They're quiet. Yeah.
Yeah, they're maneuverable. They have pickup. They go when they want them to go. For trail riding, I think they're really good. And I'm just the kind of person that in my riding a lot of times, I've kind of found like I'll enjoy riding a two-stroke, because last time I was up here, I was on a 450.
450, dope.
Yeah, which was the wrong bike for up here, by the way.
It was horrible.
But I just said, hey, that's what I want to. I wanted to actually try it. I wish I would have brought my 250 up. I wish my 250 was a 350, but it's the same thing. But it's just the 300 is just really good for trail riding and recreational riding. I don't know. Beta's having to go with the 350 two-stroke motocross bike right now.
Yep.
I'm really surprised that the newness of the 300 two-stroke, the KTM SX, is that style of bike isn't more popular. But it's like the same thing. I think guys are like, oh, I'm going to switch to a two-stroke, and they ride it and they realize it's not as fast, and they get beat a little bit, and then they go, oh, I'll just go back and get a four-stroke. But yeah, they're not. I don't think they're better. So Garrett, I think those people are probably just complaining. They're looking for an excuse. So, okay. I think we're running short on the questions. Yeah, because they're going backwards on that screen, and the lights are running out here. And we've been on this show for almost an hour and 45 minutes. So if you have a question, you're going to have a few seconds to throw it back up in the chat.
Hey, cat, what is going on?
Anybody want a cat? We've got a cat for sale now. You can buy this cat. Actually,
this cat could live here as long as it kills the mice.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
It's a vicious. It looks like. See the claws in that sucker?
Yeah, I felt it.
Oh, you got some. Yeah, those, cat scratches don't heal very well. I don't know if you
all the bacteria in them.
Yeah, those things are really good at spreading the disease. But you got a new buddy. He's just marking you up.
Dude, he's about to squirt me.
Yeah. I had mine fixed. So I think we're. Garrett comes back. He says, I can get good mileage on my 300, but putting the hammer down, race pace, my 450 gets better MPG doing the same thing as 300. Full throttle out of every turn on a single track. Well, you're better than me. Thanks for the answers and love the show. Yeah, so.
We got, 90 miles on a tank yesterday?
Yeah, we have slightly. I have a larger Chirby's tank. even with a steering stabilizer on my bike. So,
You must have a smaller version because I don't think it'd fit on mine.
yeah, on the big giant one. I think it does because I don't know.
Actually, it would because, and that's interesting. Whoever had the IMS question is because the IMS tank on the 300, at least on the 19, 20, 22 range, you had to take the oil fill cap out and put this tiny little oil fill cap.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
It's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who
Okay, so
designed
there
that?
you go. IMSs aren't good for the oil. Yeah, they made a
designed
special
that?
funnel or something, didn't
You
they?
need a funnel about the size of a pencil tip to
Yeah.
get the oil in.
And then when you pour the oil in, does it ever overfill and spill over your frame?
You know, like 1 out of 1 times.
Every time? Yeah. Remind me, I got to put oil on my bike.
Yeah.
Because my light's gone because I have a chainsaw rack on it, so my light is now not visible, and it's
right.
time for. I
do mine every ride.
Okay.
If I can remember.
Yeah.
I've only forgot a couple
So
times, and I've had my light come on.
three full tanks of a larger than stock tank, and it's time
that's the difference between the 19, the model you have.
Yeah,
and
I can
mine.
see mine.
But I think the 24s and newer run richer. I burn a lot more oil than
Yes.
my 2020 did.
Yeah, I think they for safety
Yeah.
reasons they add a little bit of oil to it and stuff.
I'd get 3 rides out before the 3 rides and a light would come on. Where it used to be
Yeah.
5 rides.
Well, thanks to Takamoto for not bringing you Rooster Endo tonight. Maybe we'll double up the next Rooster Endo bounty, which is Takamoto gives you $100 if your Rooster Endo bike is our favorite. So start sending those in. Send that to my email. It's jimmy@dirtbiketest.com. Title Rooster Endo in the subject. Send us a picture of your bike. It better be a good picture because I'm picky ass about that. And tell us a little bit about the mods you did and why you did it, or not. And then we'll put them on the show, and you can potentially win some products from Takamoto. That's takomoto.co. If you're thinking about going skiing in the winter, I know a guy. Anyways,
Might have a deal.
let's see. Hey, Diane says use a turkey baster to fill the oil so it doesn't spill. Hey,
It's got to be a small turkey baster.
even a turkey baster has to be small. Yeah, I've
I got rid of that bike, but I agree. That actually would not be because I've tried to make funnels and it wouldn't.
right. I thought they sold it. I thought they gave you a funnel. Maybe they
Actually,
started doing it
I
after
actually
everybody
did a
complained.
syringe with a little thing to put it in there.
Yeah.
No, they did not give you a funnel.
Okay.
But
I think maybe after a while, after
just don't
everybody
get rid of the
complained.
regular oil fill cap, and you'd be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you should just you should just delete it because that makes the bike slower. You know that, right?
Hey, there's a bug up there.
I thought you were going to try to steal my beer.
I'll do either a bike park ticket or a ski ticket for the next Takamoto or the next.
Okay. The next winner.
Next winner.
How about the runner-up? Because the winner gets. Well,
Okay.
that's probably almost worth more than that. But we'll get that on the thing. We'll lay out all the prizes because if we give stuff away, people watch the show. Yeah. If we don't give anything away, they just hang up on us. So thanks everybody for joining in. It was awesome coming to you live. Almost getting hit by lightning. I almost got wet, which since I'm a witch could have been really catastrophic. I would just gone poof, and we'd be all done. But hopefully we'll get on a show next week. I'd like to thank all of our sponsors. Of course, there's Bulletproof Designs. If you saw how many things I hit with my motorcycle today, thank God I had all that Bulletproof Design products on there, especially the chain guide.
Bulletproof needs to give some bulletproof for your thighs and arms. There's a couple pudgy sticks in there today that were dangerous.
You got to ride slow enough to go around them. Yeah, that's why I carry a tourniquet. I carry a tourniquet in my backpack, and it's not even.
I actually stopped once thinking, I hope those guys made it past one.
And my tourniquet is not in the package. It's out and it's looped. You know, this is important. Another important tech tip on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. And Peter Postel wants to know it's over. Yeah, it's over. You're not here. It's over.
I just want to know what the deal is on that 890 you just text me.
Oh, is it a deal? Anyways, so I have my tourniquet. And it's pre-wrapped and looped up. It's not in the package because the time it takes you to do that could be the difference between a couple quarts of blood. I don't want to talk about that, but yeah, punji sticks are a thing.
I know. There was one today that got very close to me that scared me.
Ugh. Yeah. Well, your buddy,
No, he hasn't been back since.
Oh, that was his last
That
ride.
was his last ride.
Yeah, he got a tiny one in his foot.
Well, I spent 14 days in the hospital afterwards.
Yeah, well, his nurse didn't do a very good job of cleaning it out.
Well, that's because I took him to the vet, not the
The vet, yeah, he went to the vet instead of the clinic. So, and Peter, no, it's not speak up. It's like, you're old. You need to turn your volume up like all the other old people, okay? All the other old people that watch this podcast, turn the volume up really loud. And you're watching it live, so our production quality is horrible.
Peter, you're supposed to be, I think, riding with us today, right?
Yeah, that was the original plan.
That's why we showed up here.
Ago. Yeah.
Peter didn't show up.
Yeah.
He ended up somewhere else.
Because his kid's in charge of his scheduling these days.
I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah. So his kid was asking questions on the show last time here, and I tried to get him dialed in, and then I don't think he likes my answers because I want him to work a little bit harder at getting the solution as opposed he just wants to buy something or have his dad buy him something. Yeah. So
How many flat tires, Pete?
today. Yeah. So okay. Well, that's it. We're gonna wrap this one up. Thanks for joining in. Share, like. Text it to your buddy. I don't know how you do this stuff. Do comments. I don't know. Just send a envelope full of cash, and we'll be happy here. So with that, for Casey McCoy, my name is Jimmy Lewis. This is Dirt Bike Test Tech Talk Taco Tuesday.
And that's the new cat. We
And
don't know
we
where
have
it came
a
from.
new cat. Don't tell my cat. We will see you out in the trail. So cheers, everybody.
Have fun.
If you liked what you saw in this video, come check us out over at dirtbiketest.com on the webs. We have bike tests, product tests, a lot of fresh dirt, and you can even support us by clicking through our links. Hopefully, we'll see you out in the trail.